Imagine the vast emptiness of space, where shadows hide secrets that could unravel everything we know about the cosmos. As you dive into this tale of an otherworldly intruder slipping through our solar system's defenses, consider subscribing to stay locked into every twist of these enigmatic revelations that blur the line between science and the unknown. Deep in the velvet black, far beyond the familiar orbits of planets and the predictable dance of asteroids, something approached our sun, not with the gentle curve of a wanderer bound by gravity, but with the relentless thrust of an escapee from another star's grasp. Radar echoes from the Goldstone Observatory pierced the void, revealing not the rugged, icy facade of a comet, etched by eons of cosmic frost, but a subtle lattice of faint patterns, like the whisper of engineered struts beneath a deceptive skin. What could craft such an illusion, mimicking nature while defying its crude handiwork? The mass readings deepened the chill, a dense outer ring encircling a hollow core, evoking the hollow shell of a colossal vessel rather than the solid heart of a frozen relic. Piece by elusive piece, the data wove a tapestry too precise for accident, hinting at a construct that siphoned the sun's furious fire, not as prey, but as fuel. Pulsing glimmers of light flickered across its form, as if a hidden engine cycled in rhythm with solar flares, throttling power from the star's own rage. And then the swelling silhouette, growing not from decay but from deliberate intake, devouring wisps of interplanetary dust and gas, like a predator refueling mid-hunt. Did it expand to slake a thirst for matter, bloating with stolen atoms as it closed in on our life-giving star? The chemical signatures in its vapor trail only twisted the knife deeper, ratios of elements echoing the forge of factories, alloys born in labs rather than stellar nurseries. When the sun unleashed its plasma fury in a coronal mass ejection, a storm that should have shredded lesser intruders, this entity merely endured. No fracture, no fade, just a silent defiance, as if the star's wrath were a mere breeze against armored flanks. But survival was merely the prelude. What followed chilled the spines of those watching from Earth's distant gaze. Post-strike, it didn't merely persist. It thrived. Luminosity surging, dimensions inflating, mass ballooning beyond 33 billion tons, as though the ejection had been a feast laid bare for its consumption. Probes venturing into the interplanetary chill captured spikes in its magnetic aura, fields coiling like serpents awakened. Then the unthinkable. Instruments attuned to Mars' eternal waltz detected a tremor, a subtle yank displacing the red world by mere hundreds of meters across fleeting days. For the annals of human observation, this marked the dawn of dread, an extraterrestrial harbinger, exerting dominion over a planet's path, fingers of invisible force brushing against worlds we called our own. As 3I Atlas hurtled toward its solar intimate rendezvous, the anomaly escalated. Mars's orbit, that steadfast ellipse, quivered by infinite decimal degrees, compelling astronomers to recalibrate their celestial clocks with hurried revisions. A gravitational specter or magnetic phantom lurked in the equations, demanding acknowledgement. The revelation hung like a shroud. This intruder's field wielded such ferocity it could shepherd an entire sphere through the void, yet unease coiled tighter still. Its trajectory arced in a hyperbolic sweep, an unbound arrow fleeing the sun's jealous pull, unbound by ellipses that chain comets and asteroids in eternal thrall. What force propelled it so freely, scorning the gravitational web that snared all else? Projections whispered of peril. Should its aura amplify en route to Mars, the crimson orb might drift from its cradle, a gentle nudge birthing tempests of disruption. Tiny deviations once sown could harvest chaos over orbits untold. Swarms of meteors lacerating Earth's night veil. Asteroid clans hurled sunward in reckless barges, Mars inching inward with insidious patience. In the bleakest simulations, paths converged after cycles grim, pitting worlds in cataclysmic embrace, echoes of the solar system's violent birth replayed on a stage of planetary scale. Absent outright doom, the ripples alone promised apocalypse subtle, orbits mangled into eccentricity, tides thrown into frenzy, seasons splintered into caprice, transmuting our inner realm from harmonious mechanism to a shadowed game of celestial collisions where no rock held sanctuary. No comet of lore wielded such dual menace. Massive bulk fused with a living field to warp the very architecture of orbits. Jupiter, behemoth 318-fold Earth's heft, could not summon such reach from afar. Its magnetosphere paled against the exigency for 3 Atlas to enact this spectral tug. It craved a protective veil billions-fold Earth's fury, powered by a blaze rivaling stellar cores. Whispers of artifice echoed in the void, ingenuity eclipsing our wildest blueprints, a relic from minds that bent stars to whim. Vigil mounted on the Martian grays, scant days away at 1.67 million miles, a cosmic whisper touch. Telescopes and sentinels strained, breaths held for signs of field escalation, a further waver in the red world's poise. Earth's fate would teeter on the precipice, immediacy sharpening the blade. Yet even our guardians confessed impotence, arsenals of atomic fire slamming slugs. Gravitational shepherds all forged for errant stones mere hundreds of meters wide. Not this 5-kilometer enigma, a monolith mocking our defenses. Does your pulse quicken at the edge of natural veil? Could 3 Atlas cloak comet's guise over machinations alien, sapping at our sun's hearth? Shadows lengthened as memory replayed the strike that should have ended it. September 25th dawned with solar unease. The star's face marred by sunspots like bruises, plasma arcs coiling in prelude to rupture. At 3:47 UTC, restraint shattered. A coronal lash erupted. Gas corona billions-ton arching skyward, tens of thousands of miles before severing, catapulting into the abyss at over 1.6 million mph. Not mere radiance, but a plasma leviathan laced with magnetic barbs, gauges shattering thresholds in real-time horror. Energy tallied at 1.2 trillion megatons. Envision humanity's nuclear legacy amplified 20 million-fold, or the dinosaur-slaying bolide multiplied 20 times in symphony of annihilation. Laser focused on one void point, models painted the wavefront as solar maelstrom scouring the inner realms. Precision chilled the blood. Dead on for 3I Atlas, the verdant behemoth slicing toward Martian brush. For moons, this jade phantom had sown disquiet. 33 billion tons eclipsing comet kin. Nucleus spanning 5 kiloid. Aura from diatomic carbon laced with nickel-cobalt exhaust of forges unearthly. At perihelion's cusp, fate's hammer descended, the mightiest ejection chronicled, a stellar broadside to vaporize worlds. Control rooms from Hawaiian peaks to Chilean vales, to Canarian spires brimmed with watchers, eyes glued to feeds in shadowed expectancy. Comets crumbled under lesser gales. This gale dwarfed legends, a forge blast to gas giant shields, to garrote Earth's own field into ruin. Impact bloomed cataclysmic. The emerald streamer lashed, luminous filament rending free, dissolving in solar gusts within heartbeats. The coma, that radiant vapor crown, imploded as if vitality drained by unseen thief. Light plunged per spectrographic vigil from Rubin's gaze. Doppler whispers from deep space ears clocked plunge from 37,000 to 5,000 MEPRO, an ethereal break grinding momentum to drift. For the first chronicle since unveiling, the Titan dimmed to obsidian cloak, tumbling sunward in mock vulnerability. Jubilation erupted across observatories. Exhaustion's vigil, fevered frets of extraterrestrial dread, all quelled by solar decree. The masses' enigma, verdant sheen, Martian tryst, murmurs of maternal dreadnought, vanquished in stellar pyre, climax of dread fable, where beast succumbs in finale's blaze. But reality mocked closure. Precisely 2 hours and 7 minutes post-blow, a spark kindled in the gloom's nucleus. Pulse throbbed, then cataclysmic blaze, detectors drowning in overload. Solar orbiter's vigilant eyes snared emission torrent. Nickel-cobalt diatomic carbon redux amplified opulent indelible. In gasp of eternity, a tale unfurled, a new symmetric jade spear outshining progenitor. Velocity clambered, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 mph, resurgence reclaiming 37,000 blister as if amnesia claimed the assault, phenomena scorned tenets. No icebound vagrant withstands planetary melting surge to rebirth, plume, and pace in breaths. Sovereign spheres fields would fray in such onslaught. Yet 3-eyed Atlas blazed verdant, velocity unyielding, as if stellar iron nourished rather than felled. Stares blanked on screens, silence swallowing awe. No natural kin regenerates facsimile thrust post-plasma deluge potent to sear seas. Patentates planetary woodchar here. The intruder scorned doctrine, tail resplendent, haste restored, laws bent to whim, a vibe distilled the enigma antecedent weeks. Solar Dynamics Observatory traced solar shutters, microquakes magnetic aligning with 3I Atlas's stellar visage, as if prodded to eruption, the blast synchrony bespoke intent. Prescience or provocation. Vessel harnessing gale like mariner's canvas to Zephyr. Save Zephyr was plasma billion-ton gale, atmospheric scourge, planetary perish in tempest. Today, perhaps 3I Atlas bared receptors imbibing the maelstrom's essence. Rewind to Genesis, July 1st, 2025. Scope snared the third interstellar specter breaching our bounds, hurtling at 307,000 km/h, a blurred defiance scorning containment.